Thanks for watching. Please take this time to like, subscribe and hit the bell to join the notification gang. Lesbians of Reddit, what's the best dating advice you could give to recently out lesbians? I'm a bi woman with many years of dating experience. There's no real key to dating other women, it's pretty much the same as dating a man, just with fewer outward appendages involved. Edit, some women do have pricks though. Thanks to commenters for pointing this out. Generally, though, I recommend, try going to queer spaces to meet other women, for example gay bars, clubs, pride festivals. It's easier to hit on women you know are likely queer than going to a regular bar and hitting on random women, although this does work sometimes, speaking from experience. Don't befriend a girl with the sole purpose of getting in her pants. If she says she's straight, don't push the envelope. Respect her sexuality if she respects yours. If you're interested in someone while trying to build a rapport with them, tell them. Don't hide it until the very last minute. Tell a girl you meet that you like, hey, I think you're a great person and I would love to take you out on a date sometime, wanna get dinner/coffee/see a movie? That way it's not a surprise to them and they can decline if they so choose. If you meet a girl who says she's into women but dating a man and wants a threesome, just leave. Shit ain't worth it, man. Threesomes with couples in relationships almost always end in the couple imploding on themselves. Unless you're into that? I don't judge. Home wrecking is a questionable kink, but a kink nonetheless. Online dating is probably the easiest way to find a partner. Be careful though, because there are a lot of straight couples looking for a third and they may not make that obvious, like the profile only shows the woman. Don't date people just because they are the only other lesbian around. You will find someone who's a great match, but it may take a while. I heard a joke somewhere that lesbian dating is like finding a job. You're either referred by a friend or you apply online. I think the best advice I can give is to make as many friends as possible and expand your community. That way a friend of yours can introduce you to their ex-girlfriend's roommate and you can live happily ever after. I also recommend using the app to meet women, although I haven't used it in a few years. Don't let yourself fall victim to the useless lesbian stereotype. I almost didn't end up with my girlfriend because I was just too chicken to talk to her about all our super obvious flirting. Falling for a straight girl is an integral part of the baby gay experience. Let it happen, enjoy the butterflies, accept that she probably won't reciprocate, move on. Also, a lot of women buy into the false idea that they need a partner to be happy. This is 100% not the case. Learn to be okay with being alone, make friends, pick up or get more invested in hobbies, and enjoy singlehood. You'll be a more interesting and appealing potential partner and attract more interesting people in return. Confidence is sexy. There's nothing more concerning than someone who wants their entire life to revolve around you starting 2 weeks into the relationship. Women can be creeps, too. Sometimes even the ones who are talking a lot of shit about feminism and consent are creeps. Remember that no is a complete sentence, and it's not your fault if it hurts their feelings. Someone who is pushy over little things, like insisting that you have another drink, is testing your boundaries, and they're going to try pushing you around over big things, too. Also, get on dating apps. They're a lot of fun and 95% of the women I've met on them have been super cool people that I had a nice time with even if I never went on a second date with them. Just be careful, don't drink too much, and don't go anywhere alone with someone on a first date. Her is a completely unusable piece of garbage. Try Tinder. While this isn't just for recently out lesbians, it's something to keep in mind. Don't settle. Having a smaller dating pool and or the fear of dying alone can make anyone feel like as long as their partner is good enough they're worth sticking with. I was in my first lesbian relationship for 3 years, which was probably 2 years longer than I should have been, and strongly considered marrying her, even though our relationship was pretty unfulfilling due to lack of shared interests and, honestly, she was quite selfish throughout most of our time together. Now I'm in a relationship with a woman who I have a lot in common with, goes out of her way just to make me happy, and values my wants and needs in our relationship as much she values her own. I'm excited about the future we may have together instead of well, this might be the only chance I ever get, and that's what it's supposed to be. It is much better to be alone than to be in a bad relationship, as scary as it is, and the more time you spend single, the more likely you are to meet the woman that's right for you. Do the exact opposite of what every idiot guy has done hitting on you. For example, if you feel the need to buy someone a drink, buy her a drink, give her your number and leave her the bleep alone. You can even say I'll be over there and maybe throw a compliment in there. But buying someone a $4 beer isn't a contract they signed that they now have to talk to you for 45 minutes. Don't sit there and make sure she puts your number in her phone like a creepy arsehole. I've gotten a lot of girls just by being respectful of their boundaries and not thinking everyone is obligated to like me because I dared show interest. If you can, find yourself a sense of community, be it lesbian bars, pride parades, even apps like her are better than nothing. It's much easier to meet other women in spaces where you know they're almost certainly into other women. Even if you don't find a date, it's a confidence booster just being around other lesbians, LGBT people who understand your experiences and accept you for who you are, especially if you're newly out. On the other hand, avoid straight girls who just want to experiment. If you're after anything more than exactly that, don't fool yourself into thinking there's a relationship there. I've seen too many women breaking their own hearts over these types. When I first entered the lesbian community in my area, I was not prepared for how incestuous it was. I lived in a big city at the time and did not expect, given the population, how often I would find out that a girl I went out with had dated another girl I went out with. It got awkward sometimes. I can't imagine how bad it would be in a smaller city or town. Not a lesbian, but I lived in a paper-thin walled duplex next to a lesbian couple. Just because somebody is LGBT doesn't mean they aren't abusive. I used to have to call the cops on a weekly basis because Mrs. A was beating the ever-loving shit out of Mrs. B on our shared front lawn. It was 100% exactly like a hetero-abusive relationship, except worse because the police were afraid a no-contact order would be treated as discrimination, maliciously trying to break up an LGBT relationship. The two always got back together, and within a few days they'd be covered in blood, shrieking at eFFin on my front lawn again. So, yeah, I guess that one still needs to have fear shithead sensors active playing that dating field. You are valid and just as deserving of safety, respect, and consent as any other human. Just because you are gay doesn't mean you, 1, are required to be attracted to every gay woman. 2, have to put up with unwanted or uncomfortable advances from other gay folk. 3, aren't deserving of affection and tenderness and not just sexual interactions. Breathe. You're not wrong or bad, and your love for women is not predatory or creepy, even if you feel like it is. I absolutely second the sentiment that you shouldn't date the first other lesbian you meet unless you really feel a strong connection there. There will be more girls who like girls. Trust me. Dating apps can be a great way to meet people, but just know that you probably won't meet the love of your life on a dating app. Or you might. I know people have in the past. Just don't let that be your expectation. If you're a minor, please remember that adult women should not be coming onto you. It's normal to have crushes on adults as a teen, but please don't act on them and put yourself in a dangerous situation. Remember that you shouldn't stay in a bad relationship just because you'll feel bad if you leave or because there are no other lesbians around. Your health comes first. Leaving a relationship is scary, but it isn't the end of the world. Relax. You're going to be okay. You're going to find the right woman for you someday, even if it feels like you never will. I promise. I've been out for about 7 years now, and while dating is a struggle at times, being a lesbian and dating women is such a rewarding and beautiful experience. You're good enough, you're pretty, handsome enough, you're smart enough, you're kind enough, and you will find love. I promise. If you're not ready to be out to everyone in your life or not ready to do PDA, you don't have to put up with someone who tries to pressure you into either of those things. Go at your own pace,